Welcome to Every Child, Every Day, a podcast where students and staff come together to talk honestly about what it means to be a community school. I'm Nancy Ka'Elahiva, but the kids and staff call me Mrs. K. I'm the Family and Community School Partnership Coordinator here at Wheatland Union High School.
And I'm Jessica Ibarra, Assistant Director of Community Schools. Our model supports the whole child through strong partnerships, wraparound services, and the belief that school should be a place of belonging and opportunity for all.
And I'm Matthew Hoffman, a senior here at Wheatland and part of the Safe Harbor program, which supports students who are unhoused, in foster care, and or facing other serious challenges.
Okay, Matt, you're graduating soon. I think you've earned the right to call us by our first names, if you'd like.
Totally, and honestly, names matter. What we call each other says a lot about the kind of space we're creating. Respect means showing up with care, listening, and being real.
Yeah, I think that's what makes this feel different, is we can have a real conversation, not just about school, but about life.
Okay, Matt, so what do you want to call us?
I definitely want to call you by Miss Ibarra and Miss K, what I'm used to.
Perfect. I love that. Is it okay if I call you Matt?
Of course.
Okay, so let's continue. Today, the three of us are not just here to answer questions, we're asking them too. Let's talk about what community support looks like when it's real and why it matters.
So, Nancy, when you're talking with new families and community members, how do you describe what makes a community school different?
When I talk to families about what makes a community school different, I usually say this: we're not just focused on academics, we're focused on the whole child. That means we care about whether a student is fed, housed, safe, supported, and seen. It's about equity, making sure every student has what they need. So, Matt, when did you realize that school could be more than just academics for you?
My family was going through a really hard season. My parents split up and it shook everything up. Eventually, we were even evicted, twice. We were doubled up with family friends for a while, and it felt like we had nowhere stable to land. Through all of that, school became the one consistent thing in my life. It was where I could get meals, where I felt safe and I was able to escape everything. But it wasn't until I connected with the Safe Harbor program that I realized there were people who truly wanted to help me, and that asking for help didn't have to be so scary. The staff in Safe Harbor helped me with everything from FAFSA to finding dental care. They even covered my prom costs and helped me get my yearbook, cap and gown, and a hotspot so I could do homework at home. And they took me on a first-generation college tour last summer, which was a whole turning point for me. It helped me see a future I hadn't imagined before. It gave me hope. And that's what a community school does. It gives you hope when things feel hopeless. But Miss Ibarra, why this work for you? Why community schools?
That's a good question. I am community made, or a product of my community. I was a first generation kid growing up with limited resources. I lost my mom at 9, and that loss impacted our family tremendously. We ended up doubled up for a couple months with an aunt, so school was an escape for me. School and my community are what kept me going. Programs like AVID, school staff that showed that they cared, helped me imagine a future for myself even when I couldn't see it. After college, I started working in education, and one thing became painfully clear. If a student is drowning in school, there's almost always something deeper going on. It's rarely just about academics. It's about what's happening at home, with housing, food, mental health, all of it. That's why this work matters. It's been an honor to be able to provide some sort of relief, even if temporary, to students and families who deserve so much more.
I think we should talk about Safe Harbor and student voices. So, Ms. K, what's something people get wrong about students in Safe Harbor or similar programs?
One of the biggest misconceptions is that students in programs like Safe Harbor are broken or less capable, and that couldn't be farther from the truth. These students are some of the strongest people I've ever met. They're navigating things many adults couldn't imagine: housing insecurity, foster care, trauma, and still showing up, still trying. We have to stop defining them by what they lack and start recognizing what they bring: resilience, resourcefulness, and heart. Breaking that stigma is part of our job, to create space where students feel seen for their strength, not just their struggles. Because when they realize they're not alone, when they feel safe and supported, they rise every single time. Matt, what helped you trust people in this program? And what do you say to students who are afraid to ask for help?
The staff at Safe Harbor never made me feel judged. They would always just listen and then showed up with the help I needed, whether it was food, rides, or support. And that consistency builds trust. I'd tell other students that you're not alone and there are people here who really care and really want to help. That it is okay to ask and they'll never make you feel judged for it.
So, Matt, what do you wish every student knew was available to them?
I think every student should know that you guys have personally helped me with food, clothes, dental care, and even helped me get into the college I wanted to go to. The staff even helped me get paid through a project which took some stress off about money for college. You just have to speak up and ask.
Now let's talk about challenges and commitment. Miss Ibarra, what was the hardest part about this work, especially in a rural district with limited resources?
Honestly, it's the constant hustle. In a rural district, it seems like you're always chasing new partners. Our admin is looking for new grants continuously, hoping for funds that aren't always guaranteed. You have to keep your eyes wide open for any opportunity because our kids and families really don't have the time to wait. Luckily, our team is ambitious. We care deeply, and many of us have lived experiences that mirror the students that we serve. That's exactly why we're determined to make sure that stops with us. And burnout, it's real. But the wins, even the small ones, they're what keep us going. Seeing a student smile because we covered their cap and gown, or other senior year related activities like prom or sober grad night. Seeing a family breathe easier because we connected them to resources like our food pantry, the food bank, or doing a warm handoff with housing support programs. That's the fuel. So, Matt, were there times you felt like giving up? And what helped you keep going?
There were definitely times where I felt like giving up. One of the hardest parts was realizing that my court-appointed guardian wasn't really taking care of me in the way I thought she would. It was scary to admit to staff that we didn't have food in the house, even though I was added to her CalFresh case. But the Safe Harbor team gave me the confidence to ask for help. They helped me find the words and practice the conversation with me so I could speak up for myself. That gave me a sense of control in a situation that really fell out of my hands. The support from staff reminded me that I wasn't alone, and they helped me focus on my future, and that's what I needed the most. Ms. K, what do you wish more people in the community understood about the families you work with?
I really wish more people understood that poverty doesn't equal neglect, and that struggling financially doesn't mean a family isn't trying. Every day we work with families who are doing everything they can to give their kids a better life. They're working multiple jobs, navigating systems that weren't built for them, and they're still showing up with love, with hope, and with everything they've got. It's easy to judge from the outside. It's easy to see someone living in a motel or missing a form for school and assume they don't care. But what do I see? I see parents who skip meals so their kids can eat. I see families who love their children fiercely. They want to be more involved. They want stability. And honestly, they're some of the most determined, resilient people I've ever met. I know because I was one of those families. When my kids were younger, my husband worked 2 jobs so I could stay home with them. Childcare would have cost what I'd make at an entry-level job. I didn't go to school past high school, so we made the choice to struggle because it felt like the best option for our family. And back then, there wasn't anything like what we have here now at Wheatland High. No food pantry, no village. If there had been, it would have been game-changing for us. That's why I believe in meeting families with compassion, not assumptions, because when we do, we get the privilege of being a part of their village. And that's when the real change happens, not just for today, but for generations.
So, looking ahead, If you could give one thing to every student walking through our doors, what would it be?
I think I would definitely give a person who believes in them.
If I could give every student one thing, it would be a true sense of safety and belonging. Because when the students feel safe, not just physically, but emotionally, they can start to take risks, to learn, to grow. Belonging means they know they're seen, valued, and accepted just the way they are. It means they have a place where they don't have to hide their struggles or pretend to be something or someone they're not. That sense of belonging is a foundation for everything else: confidence, resilience, hope. Without it, it's so much harder to thrive. So my hope is that every child walking through our doors feels that they belong here.
If I could give every student one thing, it would be an equitable high school experience, one where every student has what they need to thrive, not just survive. That means removing barriers that come with homelessness, foster care, or instability, and making sure students feel seen, supported, and capable. They deserve more than just access. They deserve the belief that their future holds something brighter. I want them to be equipped with the tools to advocate for themselves and believe that their circumstances don't define their future. And from personal experience, I can say, even when life feels impossible, it's not permanent. My hope is that every student has the support they need to hold on and push forward.
So if you're a student who needs help, don't wait. And if you're someone who wants to help, ask how. A community school means we show up for each other.
That's so well said, Matt. Well, that's all the time we have. This was Mrs. K, Jessica, and Matt for Every Child, Every Day. This work is about more than programs. It's about people and relationships and showing up even when it's hard.
And at Wheatland Union High School, we don't just say it, we live it. Every child, every day, whatever it takes.
Thank you for listening, and to all pirates, remember to always honor the code and be courteous, organized, dedicated, and empathetic.